for you today, so I hope you're ready to have a good time. Okay, those of you who have just transferred into the class, make sure that you get your attendance card from the TA and also that you get your student survey or your student agreement taken on Canvas, okay? Also, next week's convocation, we will be celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month celebration, okay? So that ought to be a lot of fun, so invite all your friends. All right, this week's presentation, we have 3hattrio with us. So if you're not familiar with them, I think you're in for a real treat. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. A little bit about them. They hail from Zion Canyon in southern Utah. They play American desert music. Their aim is to create a new music which responds to the natural world of their sacred homeland near Zion National Park. Sit back, relax, tap your toes, enjoy the music, and just have a great time. They will also be in the back in the lobby afterwards selling CDs if you're interested. They're also performing a concert tonight if you'd like to hear more of their great music in Spring City. So without further ado, let's give a warm Snow College welcome to 3hattrio.
Snow College, huh? Good. You're the Badgers, is that correct? Pound for pound, the most vicious animal in the world.
Ready for this?
Yeah. Woo.
Traveler, I'm going back to Abilene. We're going Texas traveler, we're going Texas traveler, we're going Texas traveler. I'm going home, I'm going home.
it on back to me, down there. Suck the man, shake it down, you real down, 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 baby, down, 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 down. Take it on man, take the man, where you going? 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 They don't on mound. They don't mound. They'll think it on ready. We're not down. They'll don't mound. Down, down, man. Where you going? Where down, 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 down. They don't play now. They don't mound. They don't down, down, they don't down, 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 down. They don't mound, man, baby. Down, down, they say, where you going now? Say, where you going? Now, take 'em on mound. They don't get the man mound. Where you going? Where you going? Where you going? Where you going?
Where you going? Where you going? Where you going? Where you going? Where you going? Where you going? Where you going? Where you going? Where you going? Where you going? Where you going? Where you going? Where you going?
You know me, man, man, I'm so down.
Where you going? Where you going?
Down, down, so where you going? 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 Where you going now? Where you going now? Where you going? Where you going now? Where you going now? Where you going now? Say where you going? Yes, I'm nobody see no. Yeah! Yeah! Are you ready for this, Snow College? Woo! Right on. All right, I'm gonna tell you a little story, all right? Yep. So I decided to go for a walk in the desert one day. Yeah. And while I was out there, it was one of those 100-degree days we have down there in the desert where we live. And if you've ever been out in the desert on a 100-degree day when it's hot and quiet, the further out in the desert that you get, the quieter it gets. And it gets quieter and quieter, and it gets like really quiet. And if you've ever been out there when it gets really quiet, it's so quiet that you can, if a fly kind of flew past your ear, sometimes it seems so loud because your ears are just reaching for something to listen to that almost to me sounds like somebody saying something. You ever heard that? So while I was out there, I've been out there for a few hours already, and I was drinking all the water that I had already. And at that point, some gigantic bug flew by my ear, and I didn't know what it was, but it sounded to me like it was saying, keep going, the best is still ahead. Like, keep going, the best is still ahead. Right? You'll hear that when you go out there next time. And my brain said to me, my inner brain said, should you do this? Should you follow this thing? And I said, yeah, what the heck? I'm out here, what the heck? So the thing landed about 20 feet in front of me, so I walked the 20 feet to see what it was, and it was this gigantic fluorescent green beetle that we have down there in the desert where we are. And as soon as I bent over to get a closer look at this beautiful little creature, it took off again and said, keep going, the best is yet to come. So I followed it again for another 20 feet. And in that 20 feet, there was a anthill there that he had landed near, and I looked at that anthill, and I thought, this is really cool. I can just watch these ants work all day, and I was there for a while, and all of a sudden it took off again, and it said, keep going, the best is yet to come. And so I took off again. So this went on for about 6 hours. And at that point, I was dehydrated. I was getting a little delirious. I was really hot. I was really thirsty. And I was like, you know what? My inner brain's going, maybe that wasn't such a good idea. Maybe you should go back, whatever. And I realized that I was lost. I didn't know where I was in the desert. And I was thirsty and dehydrated. And I was basically going to tell this little bug off, you know. And he took off again. Keep going. The best is yet to come. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go one more, and that's it, you know. So I go one more. And what do I find? But there's a Volkswagen in the middle of the desert. There's a banjo laying there. And there's this guy buried up to his neck in sand. And he's alive. And he's just looking around, you know. And I'm like, oh my God, this is unbelievable. So I go up to the guy and I say, hey, how's it going? And he says, you know, pretty good, good times, you know. He says, how you doing? And I said, I'm doing pretty good, you know, good times. And he said, would you mind, you know, digging me out of this sand here? And I said, no, I'd be happy to do that. But I said, is that your Volkswagen over there? And he's like, yeah, that's my Volkswagen. I'm like, wow, that's really cool. How'd it get here? He said, it's a really long story. He said, but would you mind digging me out of the sand? And I said, no, yeah, I'd be happy to do that. And I'm like, is that your banjo laying there? He's like, yeah, that's my banjo laying there. Would you mind digging me out of the sand, though? Because I've been here for a while. And I said, can you play that banjo? He's like, yeah, as a matter of fact, I've played it all my life. And I've done folk music, and I've done you know, music of the settlers of the early American West, and cowboy music and that kind of thing. He said, I've basically done that all my life. And I'm like, wow, that's really cool, you know. And he says, so would you mind getting me out now, you know, unbury me so I can get out? And I said, yeah, I guess I could do that. And he said, by the way, if you do help me get out, he said, I'll grant you 3 wishes. And I was like, really? He's like, yeah, 3 wishes. I said, okay. So I dug him out, and he says, okay, what's your first wish? And I said, you know what? I'm like really thirsty, and I was kind of reverting back to my childhood at that point because I was kind of delirious. I said, I'd really like a Coke. You know, and I said, I don't just want a Coke. I want a Coke in a big frosty mug with crushed ice in it. And I said, whoever does this stuff for you, don't tell them not to open it yet, because I want to open it and actually pour it over the ice, and I want to hear it fizzle, and I want to smell that fresh Coca-Cola smell, right? He's like, okay. And he says, what's the second wish? And I was like, I got the first wish. It came and I drank it and it was wonderful. And the second wish, he says, what's the second wish? And I said, well, I've always wanted to play the stand-up bass, believe it or not. He's like, okay, I can do that. Second wish, there it was. I had a stand-up bass. So what's the third wish? And I said, well, I should probably wish for a helicopter to pick us up to get back to where we started from, because we're a long ways out in the desert right now. And sure enough, 3 seconds later, here comes the helicopter, lands down there and picks us up, and we get into the helicopter, and what's on the dashboard of the helicopter but this violin? And I'm like, are you a violin player? And the guy goes, yeah, as a matter of fact, I play classical violin. I was like, wow, that's just super cool. So we get in the helicopter and we kind of fly back home, and we all kind of tell a little bit of our stories of how we got to this situation or whatever, and we agreed at that point that we were going to get together later on that week and actually play music together, because now I got a bass that I can play. The other guy had a banjo, and the other guy had a violin, so we decided at that point that we were going to get together and see if we could make some music.
leaving Cheyenne. Goodbye, my little Donny, I'm off to Montana. Goodbye, old paint, I'm leaving Cheyenne. Goodbye, my little Donny, I'm off to Montana. We'll set down our blankets on the green grassy ground, and the horses and the cattle are grazing all around. Goodbye, old paint, I'm leaving Cheyenne. Goodbye, my little Donny, I'm off to Montana. Thank you very much. So this is the academic part of the program. It will last about 4 minutes. And so if you didn't get enough sleep last night, maybe this is the time to close your eyes and take a little nap. I've been to these convocations before. And first of all, I'd like to compliment you on having an event with 4 syllables called a convocation. I think that's very scholarly of you. Thank you for doing that. So, desert music. What is desert music? You know, we met in the desert. I was buried up to my head. Eli was flying a helicopter with a violin on the dash. And I'd never heard any of this before. But desert music, what is desert music? If you asked people around the United States, what is Western music? 9 out of 10 people would say cowboys and Indians. And that's true. Most of desert music that we know about is a tradition, which is a great tradition, called cowboy music. I've loved it all my life. In fact, that last song that we sang was an old cowboy song that we really messed with big time. And it was written by crews of black cowboys coming up the trail from Texas to Wyoming, and recorded back in around 1910 by a folklorist named John Lomax. So that's a black cowboy song that's been messed around with a lot. But these people were experiencing the desert and the wilderness every day, and so their music got a hint of the landscape. And of course, Native Americans had been living with the desert forever, and their music really has the desert pegged well. But we decided we wanted to come up with our own brand of desert music, and so that's what we're doing. It's a little bit cowboy, a little bit spaced out, But that's our music, desert music. So that's the academic part. We're going to do one now called Sandstorm. And this is a song that I wrote about a sandstorm. You ever been in one? Excuse me. Horses squall and they kick while bucking. Wild eyes dart at the joy of suffering. Praise the wind and we'll ride for nowhere. Scarves wrapped tight for some air. Muted sun, we are all dull-witted. Gallop on for the air. Ascendant wind, swallow the world. Sand and wind, we're hurled and whirled. Sand and wind, blow to hell's gate. Sand and wind, just blow. Race with wind just before the dawning. Shut your eyes, stalking into storm. Sun obscured, there's no time nor compass. Fine ground sound drawn to bone. Storming world, you have won the battle. Gallop on, there's no home. Sand and wind, swallow the world. Sand and wind, sand and wind, blow to hell's gate. Sand and wind, it's you.
Thank you.
Rose. What is it? Rose. Rose.
Scent of rose, just one scent of rose, softly came to me, rolling down the road, rolling down the road.
Just one scent of rose.
Just one scent of rose, softly came to me, rolling down the road, rolling down the road.
Just one scent of rose,
Blue and empty sky, blue is our goodbye, rolling down the road, rolling down the road. Just one scent of rose,
out, baby.
just a lullaby. Blue is our goodbye, rolling down the road, rolling down the road, rolling down the road, rolling down the road, rolling down the road.
Yeah, skip my hobby. We'll do that together. Okay, okay. Hi, everybody.
Well done. Well done. Well done. Nice.
So my name is Eli Wrankle. This is Hal Cannon, plays the banjo, and he was buried in sand. And this is Greg Istock, and he recently played the stand-up bass, I guess. And we're a three-hat-trio, and you're probably wondering why this young kid is playing with these two old guys, right? Well, we didn't actually meet in the desert. That was a story. They actually found me floating down the Virgin River in a wicker basket when I was a baby. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. When I was 15, so I was classically trained. I've taken private lessons since I was about 6 years old, and I've played in an orchestra for now 10 years or something. But when I was about 15, I held a little classical concert in my house to raise money for my orchestra to go to Disneyland. And these two had already been family friends, but they came, and my dad had them bring instruments without my knowledge. And so afterwards, they brought him inside. They're like, hey, do you want to play with us? And I had never improvised before or done any of that. I had strictly read sheet music, and so it was really terrifying, to be honest with you. But so we played, and it was really, really fun. It worked out really well, and we were all having fun. And afterwards, I'm like, hey, can we do this again? Like, this was really fun. Let's do it. And they're like, yeah, let's do it. And so it just went on from there. We started meeting like every week, and I think it was Hal who actually wrote our first song, but we started writing songs together, and then it just kind of progressed from there. And now we're here today.
Yes.
Happily here today, yes.
Happily, yes.
So we're just starting a 5-day, 7-performance tour to celebrate our new CD, which is called Solitaire, and we've been playing some of the songs from that, a few of them. And those are available outside. And we're going to go outside afterwards and say hi to you if you're around still, if you haven't bolted for lunch, which is sort of what we're interested in too. But so we're going to end our program. Gosh, has it been 40 minutes already? We're supposed to end at like 10 after 1, is that correct? Really? So we've got how many more minutes?
5 minutes.
We got 10 minutes?
We got 10 minutes.
Oh, we do. Is that a clock? And is that water for us? Oh, yeah. But it says it's 7 after 1. That means there's 3 minutes.
No, we got 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
Oh,
5 minutes.
we're going to play a song. Actually, let's all synchronize our watches. That'll be fun. This is called...
Yeah?
No?
No?
Do that?
What were you going to do?
Mojave. No, let's do these two.
No, let's do hometown. Let's do hometown first. Let's do it.
Okay, I got it.
My mistake.
Wait.
Yeah.
I guess that answers the question if we're not really playing up here, doesn't it?
This is dessert music. Yum. Okay.
So what are we doing?
We're in hometown.
Hometown.
Oh, we are doing hometown?
Yeah.
I was right then.
You're right. Yeah. Yeah. Get in the groove. Could just be the new street lights, they shine so hot and blue. Could be all the traffic now, I don't have a clue. The pals used to live right there, that's where I broke my foot. An old man pal chased us home right in this neighborhood. Today I walking the main street while Tracy's on the block. Not one person knew my name as I went on my walk. Coffee shop is gone now, it's now just level ground. The latte crowd is moving in, the pride of this small town. This is my hometown, it's not a lone town. Alone in the town where I grew up. This is my hometown, it's not a lone town. Alone in the town where I grew up. This is my hometown, it's not a lone town. Alone in the town where I grew up. Yeah, yeah, hometown. Of horses, snow falls bright, silent is the night, hills shine silver, frosted backs of horses, see their breath, standing still at their rest. Full moonlight, frosted backs of horses, snow falls bright, silent is the night. frosted backs of horses, learn kings up, horses whirl, horses buck. Thank you very much. No
Thank you. you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
And now back to the drudgery.